Before the beaches, the restaurants, the holidaymakers and all-inclusive resorts, there was first, upon the Balearic Islands, the Phoenicians, Carthaginians, then Romans, the Byzantines, the Umayyad Caliphate. It was used as a pirate haven, then established as the Taifa of Mallorca. Conquered by the crown of Aragon's Reconquista in the 13th century, became Spanish in the late 15th century, followed by brutal attacks from Ottoman privateers throughout the 16th. Sold in parts to Britain, Austria and Sicily, partially occupied by France for no other reason than Britain had that bit and they wanted it, and not brought wholly under Spanish rule until 1802, whereby the island saw fighting between Republicans and Nationalists during the Spanish Civil War in the lead-up to the Second World War. The Balearic Islands have had many different conquerors and inhabitants throughout recorded history, but now the beautiful and veritably historic islands face a new kind of conqueror, emblematic of the 21st century. And yes, we will be demonstrating all of this in a cocktail, somehow. I recently took a trip to Mallorca in the Balearic Islands, which has enormously inspired me to try and create a cocktail that says as much as possible about the extensive culture and history of this fascinating group of islands. For those that are unaware, Mallorca is a Catalonian Spanish island that has an enormous and fascinating history, but has recently become completely overrun by the mass tourist industry. To give what I think is an appropriate analogy, Mallorca is to Brits and Germans what Hawaii is to the Americans. Kind of. I say this particularly in relation to the mass tourism and over-tourism that has plagued both of these lands. And any American viewers will likely be aware of the continual pleas from native Hawaiian residents about this very thing. Mallorcans are being run out of their homes in place of these enormous resort hotels and sweeping property buyouts, predominantly by German real estate developers. Many Mallorcans feel as if they barely even recognise the island, not even knowing if they can call it home anymore, oftentimes feeling like they've been expelled. As a result, there's been an enormous cultural and literary response to over-tourism that has taken off significantly since 2018. So I thought now would be a really good time to try my best to sort of celebrate that cultural identity they have, whilst also recognising the very thing that they feel plagues them. And I can do that really, really well in a cocktail, I think. But the island itself is absolutely stunning, with a long history of agriculture and rotating cultural identities, so I really wanted to make a cocktail that celebrated all of that, whilst using as many local ingredients as possible. The island became so popular during the holidays due to its fantastic climate, allowing Europeans from far colder countries to flock over, sit on the beaches and try their very best to thaw out during the summer months. Much in the same way that vacationing Americans would flock to the Caribbean or Hawaii. So because of that, I really wanted to take this cocktail in a sort of ersatz tiki direction, which kind of seemed the appropriate thing to do, seeing as we already have a dedicated school of thought for this very theme. So as this is going to be a tiki drink, it is naturally going to have to be shaken, but we are not going to be using rum in this. What we are going to be using, what I was able to get my hands on the way back, was some of this gin Chorigar. This is made in Mahon, in Menorca, not Mallorca. It's a small island just to the sort of southwest. Fun fact, Mallorca basically means big island and Menorca basically means small island. In Latin, the language, I think the Romans came up with that, but I'll put it there. This gin was first made for British sailors that were stationed on the island between 1708 and 1802. And quite interestingly, the base spirit for this gin is not sort of a neutral grain spirit as many London Dry gins are. This is a grape spirit, an eau de vie. But the rest of it was made, as you may expect, considering it was made for British sailors, to replicate a London Dry gin. So we are going to take our lovely Menorcan Mahon gin Chorigar, and of this we are going to need 1.5 ounces. I was also able to get my hands on this, Canonita. This is an orange aperitif. It's sort of like a vermouth, an orange vermouth. What did it say? A bittersweet seduction made from the essence of sun-ripened Canonetta oranges. That sounds pretty good. And of course, citrus, oranges, limes, lemons. Huge agricultural export for Mallorca, and They are absolutely beautiful. When I was staying there, we had a lemon tree growing in the front yard, and my God, incredible. We are going to need 1 ounce of the orange aperitif. And then quite another big thing on Mallorca in particular, but I'm pretty sure all of the Balearic Isles, are these herbal liqueurs. I thought this was going to be, you know, along the lines of Benedictine, chartreuse. This is kind of like an anisette. Not really, there's a lot more going on than just the aniseeds. I do want some of this, I don't want a lot, because aniseed just absolutely takes over anything it's in if you use even a little bit too much of it. So I'm going to start really sparingly with this, and I'm going to use just a bar spoon. For people that know, doesn't that look exactly like the bottle of Canar that Damar is always drinking in DS9?
Let's drink to Wayun 7.
When will the prisoners be executed?
Every time I look at this, I just think, I'm just going to fill this with like viscous black liquid and be like, oh yeah, that's my Canar. Another huge export for the island of Mallorca is almonds. So naturally, there's going to be some orgeat going in here. We're kind of going in a tiki direction, so probably saw that one coming. But I'm thrilled to find that almonds really, really thematically work here. It's an enormous thing for the Mallorcan agricultural industry. This can be quite overpowering, so we are only going to use 1/4 ounce of orgeat. We're going to go for a scant 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. Maybe honestly a little less. And as for the citrus in this cocktail, I really couldn't decide sort of if I wanted to do lemon or lime, because both are quite nice, but lemons and limes and oranges all grow really well on Mallorca. I think what I'm going to do is 1 ounce of citrus. I'm going to do half of that lemon and half of that lime. 1/2 ounce of lemon juice and 1/2 ounce of lime juice. Let's add ice and let's shake. Going to take a nice healthy glass, and I'm going to kind of half strain this into the glass. I want some of the bigger pieces, but I don't want all of the ice. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I'm going to try and make a little snow cone on the very top. Crushed ice on there. So what I'm going to do is try and get a healthy few sprigs of mint. Stick those in next to our straw. I'm going to take a pick and some olives. Gotta remember, man, olives, one of the biggest exports of the region. Historically, even the Romans used Mallorca for olive cultivation. That's how long they've been doing it. So really, thank the Romans. What have the bloody Romans ever done for us?
And what have they ever given us in return? The aqueduct? What? The aqueduct? Oh, yeah, they did give us that. That's true, yeah.
Olives are going in there as well. Then, I'm going to take some Angostura bitters, and if I can, I'm not sure I'll be able to, I'm just going to try and create a little bit of colour on the top here. What else? I think, I don't use these anywhere near enough. So many cocktails be improved very easily. Just a little cocktail umbrella. And that did maybe slightly get away from me a little bit, but there we have it. The Balearic Blast. Or, do I want to call it the Balearic Blast? I don't know. Balearic Blast. Mediterranean mash. I don't know. Oh, it smells so good. Oh man, that is just the most delicate, perfectly balanced drink I think I've had in such a very long time. What I like about this is, I mean, the mint up front, just that quick, refreshing blast. The gin and this Calanita, this orange aperitif, play so nicely together. a curacao or an orange liqueur would not work here. That would be a total miss. This is so light and delicate, and this very quickly gets overpowered, but not in this. It shines through fantastically in this. The orgeat is just the right amount, and it's complementing a lot of those orangey flavours, much in the same way that it kind of does in a Mai Tai. The gin, like, I really get the juniper, and a lot of the citrus in the gin obviously is being brought out by the lemon and the lime. And as those Angostura bitters just kind of work their way through the drink, slowly percolate, you get little hints of that. I love Angostura bitters. There's so many delicate flavours in here that all play off of one another so perfectly. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal. And after the bite of like a salty olive, you want a little bit, you know, salt makes you thirsty, makes you want to drink. Take a drink of that. It's just the most refreshing. I mean, well, Mallorcans, you've got one hell of an agricultural industry, one hell of an export industry, and as a result, it leads to some damn fine cocktails. As you can see, very tiki, it kind of started as like a gin Mai Tai just because of the ingredients I had on hand, and that sort of gave way to being mixed with something called an Army and Navy, which is a very simple but very delicious tiki drink. And for anyone that's interested, actually, I recently made a short film called Fortune Favours. It was filmed here in the bar.
Cigarette? Yes, I know.
This bar is in my garage at home, but it also kind of functions as a set. But the back wall comes out. In fact, it's out now, so I can get the lights in and talk to the camera. And we use this set to film just this little sort of adventure film. These two characters that I'm really, really proud of, that are looking for this sort of lost pirate treasure. I won't give away too much. It's really fun. It's 10 minutes. It is mostly dialogue. If you're into that, I would love it if you dropped by and gave it a watch. But all the same, thank you so much for watching. Genuinely, every view means enormous amounts to me. I just do these for fun every now and again when an idea just kind of strikes me. And I really, really hope that, you know, you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. So, cut to the chase. Thanks again for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.